Good evening and welcome to New Biz Buzz. My name is Leon Thomas, and here at New Biz Buzz, we talk to business owners that operate businesses that are new, unique, and businesses that do something to help impact society. Welcome to New Biz Buzz. Here we go. Welcome again. Thanks for being here on New Biz Buzz. Again, my name is Leon Thomas. We have a great show today on New Biz Buzz. But first, if you would like to be a guest on New Biz Buzz, or you know someone that has a new business that would like to be on New Biz Buzz, it's simple to get on New Biz Buzz. Send me an email. Again, my name is Leon Thomas. My email address is scrolling at the bottom of the screen now. My email address is leonthetrainer at gmail.com. Leonthetrainer at gmail.com. We'd love to have you or your friend as a guest right here on New Biz Buzz. Okay, for today, we have a very special guest, someone that's doing something totally different in business, and we're so excited for her and the success she's going to have and the way she's going to help others become successful as well. Our guest today is Dr. Rowena Winkler. Dr. Rowena, how are you?
I'm doing great, especially after hearing that riveting and seeing that riveting intro. I was jamming along to it. It was great.
Right on, right on. Do you know the name of that song, by the way? Do you know the name of that music?
No, what is the name of it?
I don't know either. I
Oh,
was asking. Yeah, yeah.
no, no,
I don't know.
I felt like I was in a video game or something. I was like in it. I was like, "Ooh, I'm part of the Bizz Buzz family now." It was
You
great.
are. That's right. You are a Biz Buzz. You know what? Maybe we should get T-shirts.
There you go. With
We'll ask.
that landscape background.
We'll ask producer Jay about that.
Sorry, Jay.
Dr. Rowena, it's great to have you here on the show, and I want to just real quick before we get into what you do and how great things are for you and the value that you're bringing to so many lives. I just want to throw something out there that lets folks know how we got connected. Now, we've known each other like what, a week, less than a week.
Less than a week, friend.
'Cause- Yeah, because we're in the same networking group, and as part of networking, you try to meet people. And I put something in a chat box that said, if you'd like to be on the show, let me know. And you're one of three people that did, right? I don't know, 50 people attended this meeting, 60 people, whatever you did. I'm like, and we talked about what you do, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. And I've been so excited to have to have you on the show. And so one of the things that I think first should be a big takeaway is, folks, the value of networking. It's particularly when you're starting a new business, the value of networking. All right, Dr. Winkler, Dr. Rowena. And so looking at your website, I see that you are very highly educated and you worked in higher ed for a bit. Tell us about your educational history and what you were doing before you went into business. Give us a rundown of that, please.
Sure, sure. So I got my bachelor's degree in communication studies from the College of New Jersey. I actually started as an education major when I was first in my college career, thinking I wanted to be a math teacher. But then I realized that I would have to double major in math and education, and those higher upper level math courses. No, thank you. I was not a fan of that. I wanted to teach elementary school children, but then I decided to change majors in communication studies. And from there, I went to the University of Maryland in College Park, and I got my master's and PhD in communication. My areas of focus were in public relations and health communication. And I taught courses in PR, public speaking, crisis communication, health communication, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I got my PhD in 2013, and then I got my first tenure track faculty position at Virginia Commonwealth University, where I was a professor for 3 years. Now, a couple of things happened that motivated me to pivot and leave higher ed. One of which was my father had passed away. He had cancer, and so as folks who are watching this and will be watching this can probably imagine, losing someone so close to you can definitely make you think about what your legacy is, what your impact is. And at the time, I was super duper stressed out as a faculty member, and I realized that I needed to make a change. At that my mental health and well-being was more important than trying to work that higher ed tenure track professor grind. And
Mhm.
so I left, and it was really difficult. I thought that I was a failure, that I let my advisors and my department down, and that I couldn't, hack it as a professor. But I will say, Leon, it was probably one of the best decisions of my life.
Mhm. And doesn't that happen so often that one, we're concerned about how others feel about decisions we're about to make or what we're doing, and something happens which triggers us to make a decision that's better for us. And in the long term, maybe not as we're going through it at the time, we don't recognize the value in what we've done, but long term we see, wow, that was one of the best things that I could have done. And so here you are as a university professor that for a lot of people would be like the epitome of where they wanted to be, in a tenure track position. And a lot of folks don't know the work that goes into being a professor and getting the types of education that you have. And you get there and you're working at VCU and University of Maryland, and then you say, this is not what I really want to do. And so you decided to go in the business to help others, to help women particularly be find their niche and their spiritual base, to help them become more empowered. Tell us more about what you do now.
Sure. And to tie into what you were saying with these triggering events and things that happen that cause us to do these changes, the event that motivated me to start my business was having my daughter. I went through IVF to have my baby girl. And so I wanted to role model for her the strong woman that I know I can be. And that essentially is the crux of my business. I have a business where I coach women to use these spiritual modalities such as astrology, tarot, human design, meditation, crystal healing, all these things that may appear to be woo woo or esoteric. Well, I use my training as a professor. So, again, taking that experience, not using my new business in a vacuum, essentially taking that experience as a professor and how I mentored hundreds and hundreds of students, and creating these practical, actionable, inspired plans for women to tap into their innate power, their the gifts and talents that they have, to figure out who they are and what they're meant to do in this lifetime. Because losing my father and now becoming a mother, it really shows that life we have this one life and that we need to make the most of it.
Hmm. And so you're combining your education and other things that you have studied to help people. And that's one of the things that we love to have on our show, is guests that are helping people improve themselves. And clearly you're doing that. Now, you mentioned you used a term, and I don't even know if it's an official term or not, but you used the term woo woo. And that you talked about all the spirituality and other aspects that folks could be using to improve themselves, to help hone in on what it is that they need to do to give themselves power. Tell us more about that.
Sure. So I can actually use my own experience as an overarching example. So not only back in 2016, 2017, when I was considering leaving academia, at that same time an astrological event in my natal chart occurred, which is called the Saturn return. Now what that means is that the planet Saturn it returns to the same point that it was when you were born, in that moment you were born. And in astrology, your natal chart is comprised of your birth information. So when you were born, the time you were born, and the location. And so when Saturn returns in your chart, that essentially is the boot camp. That is when things are going to shift in a very big way, and you're not really going to understand it or know what's happening, but you have to move with that energy. Otherwise, you're going to feel stuck. And for me, my Saturn return was in the sign of Sagittarius, which is the sign of learning and knowledge. But I felt like I was just, I like using this, this motion here. I was just spinning, again, as you mentioned, Leon, I was this professor. I was, I had the tools, I had the degrees, I could make something of my time as a professor, but it didn't feel in alignment. And so regardless of how my colleagues have gone through, my grad school cohort mates, I walked, I left, and I moved with what the universe and what my astrology was telling me. And it truly was a game changer and was transformative. And so with my clients, I look at these things. I look at what's in your chart. What are some of the nuances, right? So I think some misnomers when it comes to astrology and horoscopes is that it's fake, it's whatever. And the fact of the matter is that there are so many layers to it. There's so many ways that we can dive into your chart and see how we can pull out the beautiful gifts, talents, and assets, and how can we maximize the potential of what's in your chart, and also not only maximize that potential, but look at some of the challenges, right? So for me, I'm a Pisces sun sign. So I'm like a very feely, emotional, but creative person. And so I wanted to channel that energy and channel what's in my natal chart to this business and to the work that I do. So
Hmm.
that's just one small example, but there are many more.
Yeah. Now you talked about finding out what we have, those gifts and assets that we have. And I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable about astrology and everything that you just mentioned as you are, but something that I see a lot. I talk to people that internally they know that they have skills, they know that they have abilities, they know they have intuition, and they don't have jobs or careers that they're using that in. And they seem so unhappy that they're doing things that almost like they're doing things, well, just because I have a degree in, I'm gonna continue to do, or my friends say that I should keep doing, or I don't want to change degrees now, or whatever. And they go around so unhappy. It sounds like that your clients, your friends, those that you're working with, that they have a level of happiness and fulfillment in their lives that you're trying to get them to.
Yeah, thank you for asking or posing this discussion, Leon. You know, something that I've realized in my own personal experience is that for years, I kept looking externally to feel that fulfillment and happiness, whether that is in the form of degrees or in the form of relationships or in the jobs that I was doing. I was trying to find these things outside of me in order to feel happy and fulfilled in what I have. And that stemmed from a lot of unworthiness, self-worth, inner child work that I had to dig deep and deal with and work with and work through to get to where I am today, and feeling like I am working toward my sole purpose in this new business that I launched. And something that I want to share with folks are who are interested in what I do is that it's inside you the whole time. It's just a matter of digging in deep, finding that intuition, honing that intuition, because your intuition, your gut, right? Like how you feel about the decisions you make and the journey that you're on, it really is a muscle. that you have to practice and that you have to not only be present in that, right? So it's being in the present moment, not thinking about what you've done in the past and not ruminating about what you've done and what you've said, and also not freaking out and being anxious about the future. It is taking moment by moment and seeing what you can do here and now and reflecting and working that intuition, that muscle, and how you truly feel to be able to make what you need, what you want to manifest a reality. It really is acting like what you want to be, who you want to be, how you want to feel right now. And you will see that it will come to fruition faster than you can even think.
That's great. I hope that folks are paying attention and understanding that it's inside. And when I think about women, right, the many um, roles that women play in many others' lives, right? You're a working mother, um, different age children that folks may have. Moms have responsibilities outside the house via a club that they belong to, a social group, an activity that they're in. Moms are just so stretched, it seems like, in so many different areas. And it seems like a lot of the women that I know are living these departmental lives. Is that a good thing, or should they be blended, or how should folks look at that, particularly women? How should women look at that?
Yeah, I have so much love for the fellow mamas out there. And, for me, I'm still new at this game. My daughter is only 14 months old. So I have my pandemic baby, but especially in these COVID times, it is so difficult for us as women, working women, mothers who are trying to work their full time jobs while setting up their kids for online school. It's been really, really challenging and difficult. And I've seen and I've observed and I've read about us women as mothers. Once we become mothers, we become so entrenched in the lives of our children that we can lose ourselves in that, right? That we are wearing this mommy hat 24/7 all day long, that it becomes our lives essentially. And so the message that I want to bring to the fellow women, fellow mamas out there is we don't necessarily have to do that. I call myself a multi hyphenate. And what that means is that I
Whoa,
have
whoa,
a
wait a
lot.
minute, hold it. Say that again. You call yourself. Wait a minute. Did you just cuss? Did you just cuss right here online?
Yes,
What did you call yourself? A what?
a multi hyphenate.
Multi hyphenate. Okay, all right, go ahead.
A multi hyphenate, which means that I'm not Dr. Rowena, former professor, Dr. Rowena, coach, Dr. Rowena, mom. I am all of these things. And for so long, as you mentioned, I was putting myself in these little boxes and I was acting these different roles in isolation. But if anything, COVID was this time, this collective retreat of sorts where we, myself included, reflected on what are these roles and how can I integrate all sides of me, because I'm me. At the end of the day, I'm just Dr. Rowena. And so I infuse that in my business. I infuse that in the ways that as we mentioned, I take my former teaching experience and bring it to this business. I take my experience practicing astrology and these different modalities. I even bring in theater components, right? So I'm a theater performer as well. We didn't even talk about that. I'm a creative. So if
Nice.
my client is a singer or a performer or a writer, those are modalities too to tap into that soul aligned purpose. So I am all of these things and I bring that out in the women that I work with as well.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Rowena, I went to your website and we had it scrolling there at the bottom. That's rowenawinkler.com, right? And I looked on there and also saw that you're a performer, but also you're a trained dancer, right?
Yes, I am a competitively trained ballroom dancer. It is actually how I met my husband.
Really? Okay, give me the 1 minute on that. How did y'all meet? What?
So I tell people that I would not have gotten my PhD if it weren't for ballroom. I am a proud member of Ballroom at Maryland, the club at the University of Maryland, and I joined the club to help de-stress when I was writing my dissertation. So I would write my dissertation during the day and then go to practice at night. And my husband, the alumni teach the classes there. So my husband is a amazing dancer, which for me as a Filipina American, us Filipinos love to dance. And so when I was growing up, I'd see all these adults dancing, and now I get, well,
Yeah,
pre-COVID, I get
right,
to do that with my
right.
husband.
Nice.
It's great.
That's really cool. So if folks want to find more information about you, they can go to rowenawinkler.com. Now, I want to kind of go through a process. So let's say that someone contacts you and you'll set up a meeting. I'm guessing you're doing a lot of this virtually now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So someone meets you, what should they expect? I mean, what how's that work? They call you, make an appointment. What happens next? How's the conversation flow go?
Sure. So if you go to my site, that's scrolling down on the bottom, rowenawinkler.com, and there's a section for coaching services. There's a form that you can fill out with your information. And those different modalities that I mentioned today are on there that you can check off. I'm interested. So that's the thing. If you're not into astrology, we don't have to do astrology. If you want to just focus on the writing or just focus on different aspects, I completely personalize the experience for you. So checking off what you're looking for, whether that's life path or career, relationships, et cetera, et cetera. And then we set up what is called a catalyst call because my title is a cosmic catalyst coach. So we sit down on Zoom and we talk through basically what you filled out in that form. So, what's your story? What are you looking for? How can I help you? What are the different areas that we need to tap into and work on? And from that call, I then develop a personalized workbook that you then dive in deep, get in there, and I also provide information whether that is the astrology, human design, whatever you're interested in, and then we hop on a 90-minute follow up where we go through everything and I present to you an action plan that's based off a model that I actually created called Muse. So it's MUSE, model, understand, structure, and expand. And so there are 4 areas that we go through in this action plan and we continue working from there. So
Yeah.
that's essentially in a nutshell what clients would be looking at with me.
Nice, nice. And I can just tell that you're helping people, and that's the big thing. You're helping people get to where they want to go, and that's so unique. And many people don't make it to where they want to go, and I can see how you could help guide people, lead people, give advice on getting folks to where they want to go. And so for you, what you're doing has to be fulfilling, right? For you.
Oh, absolutely. That was the reason why in my story, I wanted to originally be an elementary school teacher and then I tried this professor thing. I have always had a heart of service and it fills my cup when I'm able to pour into others and help them find their zone of genius and find what they want to do. It brings me great joy and students from VCU still keep in touch with me, former students. So I just love catching up and seeing how people have grown and found their thing. It
Yeah,
really is amazing.
it is, and it's got to be fulfilling for you. I know that I coached high school basketball for a while. I did not win many games because if I did, I wouldn't be here now. I'd be coaching at UCLA, right, where
Wow.
I wanted to be. But I am in touch with many of my former players. And when they tell me about their successes or when they call me and we reminisce about days way back when, I'm sorry, that would be way, way, way back when because it was a long time ago. It's great, to hear from them and their successes, and it's great to reminisce with them. So I kind of, understand that feeling of fulfillment that we all bring. And finally, when you look at folks that are coming back to work post pandemic, and there's still a lot of stresses and decisions that are going on. You hinted at one of them where mothers, families still have their children being educated at home via, virtual education, and
Mhm.
there's the push for a lot of folks to go back to the office, and everyone has this balancing act, and it's not something that's new. We've been balancing forever. It's just a new type of balance now.
Mhm.
What what's the best way to handle all of this stuff and stress that's going on? How do you manage all that?
Well, I want to start by bringing it back to where we actually started this conversation. We met through a networking group, right? So I am all about finding your tribe, finding your community. As difficult as it's been in COVID, with quarantine, the fact of the matter is I have a great network of friends of support who have helped me along in my own journey. And I know, as a mom, as a business owner, as a woman, I would not be where I am today without my circle of friends, family, mentors, coaches. So I would say find those folks, because when you're trying to do it all in isolation, and you're trying to do it all and not asking for help, and not asking for the folks to fill in the gaps where you might need it, I think that it can get really, really challenging really quick. So
Hmm.
that's, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and it can. And I know I've reached out to a lot of people to say, help me with, or do you know someone that can help
Mhm.
with, because it can be a challenge. Yeah. So we ran your website at the bottom. I think it's going to run again now. That's rowenawinkler.com, and then your email address is there also. So those are ways that folks can get in touch with you, and I really hope that folks do get in touch with you. And when we were talking before we went on the show, you told me that you're from New Jersey. So here's what I want to do. I'm gonna give you my New Jersey accent. All right, and you grade me on it, okay? Okay,
All
all right.
right.
You ready? You ready? All
Okay.
right, all right, all right. Yo, how you doing? Huh? How you doing? What do you think? How was it? What do I got? Give me a score from 0 to 10. Come on.
Oh my goodness. Listen, Leon, I don't grade anymore. I'm not a professor anymore. And I'm from South Jersey, which is outside of
Oh,
Philadelphia.
that's
So,
close to That's close to Philadelphia. I used to run a hotel in Philadelphia, 11th and Vine, the Hawthorne Suite, 11th and Vine. Yeah.
all right. All right. I'll give it a 3 cheesesteaks out of 5. How about
Three
that?
cheesesteaks. Was that cheesesteak with or without?
Wit.
Oh,
Always
with.
wit. Always wit. There, folks are probably like, what are they talking about?
Oh, just Google cheesesteak with, then you'll figure it all out. Yeah, good time, good time. Thank you for being a guest on our show. I'm so happy that you found where you wanted to be, and now you're helping others get there as well. This is so cool, and I'm so glad you're doing that. And I'm glad we met.
Yes.
Glad we met the networking. Look forward to staying in touch with you. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Folks, again, my name is Leon Thomas. Our guest tonight was Dr. Rowena. Dr. Rowena Winkler. You need to contact her to get some coaching, some personal direction to help you get to where you want to go. Thanks for watching another episode of New Biz Buzz. Again, my name is Leon Thomas. If you'd like to be a guest on New Biz Buzz, or you know someone that does, send me an email. My email address is leonthetrainer at gmail.com. Thanks for watching New Biz Buzz. Here we go.